name is Maile. It rhymes with smiley. It's spelled like Mai Tai because it's Hawaiian. And I am a business coach, a speaker, and a mastermind leader. I'm the co-founder of the Business Acceleration Group, or BAG for short, which is a business mastermind. And we work with businesses to increase their revenue, streamline their operations, and build scalable systems in their business. So most businesses, especially in this market, don't need more ideas. They need execution and focus and a partner who's been in the trenches, and that's us. I currently serve as president of the National Speakers Association, Northern California chapter. So I network with a lot of other speakers and support my business community in that way and in many other ways as well. So I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I graduated college and never got a job after that, just was in business for myself. First as a realtor for 20 years, and then started my coaching consulting business 13 years ago, almost 14 years now. Uh, and supporting and helping entrepreneurs realize their dream of success in business. It's about building relationship. It's about making the connections that are going to build your personal network as well as your sphere of influence. So it's really about connecting with people and building relationship.
I understand.
You can network anywhere. You can network, in line at the grocery store, at a business networking event, of course, at a social, a barbecue, a party. There, whenever there's another person, you can network because it's just a connection. There's actually a lot of reasons I think for this. Sometimes it feels awkward because it does feel forced. They feel like, oh, I'm supposed to do this. And they put undue pressure because they feel like, oh, I'm supposed to do this, but they don't know how to do it. Like we haven't been taught, how are you supposed to network? And I think there's this assumption, oh, I have to have my elevator pitch. Okay. That's what everyone thinks. Oh, I got to do my elevator pitch. And sometimes speaking about ourself is one of the more challenging things. So, one of the first things I want to tell you is you don't need an elevator pitch. You need a pitch if you're going to be on Shark Tank. You don't need a pitch if you're networking. Networking is about relationship. It's about making connections. So, you don't have to have a perfect pitch. So, let me alleviate that right away. So sometimes they don't know what to expect. They don't know what they're supposed to do. They don't know what they're supposed to say. So all of that uncertainty makes it feel awkward. Recorded when I was connecting with Alma in our pre-Zoom session because that's a perfect example of networking. I asked Alma, where is she located? So now I know where she lives up in Santa Rosa. That's her neighborhood, right? So I have her geographic area. I have an idea where she lives. Asked her, how long she's been with her company, what does she like about it. So it's just getting to know someone. So it's more about the questions you ask and then listening to the answers that are going to cue you into your next question. You're listening to understand and to connect, not to respond. So here's something that really helped me. So believe it or not, I am naturally shy and introverted.
You.
Growing up, I was super shy and introverted. My mom said I was reading by the time I was 3, and I always had a nose in a book, and I'd rather be reading than talking to people. When I was a kid, we moved from Hawaii to California, and I had to start in a new school. And you know how like when you enter a new room in a new and the culture of California is way different than the culture of Hawaii. And I was already self-conscious and shy, and I had all those butterflies in my stomach and all the nerves and not sure what I would say and how I'd connect. So I understand that feeling. And every time I walk into a room, that shy little 10-year-old also walks in the room with me. And one of my mentors, Dr. Ivan Meisner, who's the founder of BNI, Business Network International, he gave me the biggest tip that really helped me when I started networking in my 20s in business. And that was act like a host. So oftentimes when we go to a networking event, we think that we have to, we are a guest there or we are a participant. But if you act like a host, it's a different demeanor, it's a different presence, right? It's like, oh, how can I help you? Right? So Wesley, what brought you to this event today? Have you been here before? Who are you looking to meet? How can I help you? Right?
I like
So,
that.
are you a member? Like, you're just making people feel welcome. Acting like a host and trying to make people feel welcome and just trying to get to know people is the basis, the essence. And if you could do that, you're going to be great. Well, it depends on where you network. If you go to Washington, D.C., they will ask you what school you went to.
Yeah, that's me.
Where did you go to school? Okay. So, but it is a very American thing. We think in terms of occupation versus human. But we all are humans. And so we want to get past that just the profession, and that's where you make great relationships. One of the reasons why networking is important to your success as a business owner is when you look at the most successful business people in if you watch interviews, if you read biographies of successful people, what the constant that you will see over and over again that contributed to their success were the relationships. Okay. So yes, we are going to a business networking event to talk about business and to say, what do you do and what do you do, and know these things. And yes, we need to be able to answer, what do you do? Right. And get to know people and their businesses. And it's more than just about putting people in a category. Oh, you're financial services. Oh, you're an attorney. Oh, you're a realtor. Oh, you do manufacturing. It's about connecting the people and their individualism and what are their specific needs and desires and what are they trying to accomplish and how can I help that person. So I think so definitely that mindset shift of going to an event instead of saying what can I get, thinking what can I give, how can I add value. Because the big myth is that everyone says, oh, you need business, go network. So everyone's going to a networking event because they think they need to in order to get business. But have you ever gone to a networking event to buy something or to hire someone, to find a vendor, right? Most people don't go to buy, but everyone's there to sell. So that's the big disconnect. But really, it's about making connections and building relationships and then seeing how we can help each other. So instead of going with the mindset, what can I get? Go with the mindset of what can I give? And and the biggest value that I bring to my network is my network, right? Is the connections I can make. Because guess what? People go because they want to meet their ideal client. They want to meet their, that golden goose, right? That SOI, sphere of influence person. And they're looking to connect with certain people. Well, guess what? I know lots of people. So maybe the person that they're looking for is someone who I know. And that is the real magic of networking, is it's not just who's in the room. So I can go to an event, like I was at an event earlier. There were 6 of us. And if you go to an event and you're like, oh, there's only 6 people, well, guess what? It was a great event. We got to build great relationship. And guess what? We're going to get more out of that event than if there were 100 people there, because of the connections that were made and the trust that was built, and the deepening of connection. And it's not just 6 people in the room, because guess what? Each person has a sphere of influence on average of 250 people. Now, how many of you have more connections on LinkedIn than 250? Okay, so it can be even greater than that, but we usually have influence with about 250. So it's not 6 people in the room, it's 6 times 250. So really, it's that connect. You're looking to connect with people who can connect you, or you're looking to connect people inside the room with people outside the room. There's someone who is associated with the event who would be happy to make introductions, right? And you can say, hey, I was wondering, can you introduce me, or who can I connect with for this? So you can ask the person that checked you in, like, who can I connect with on this? Like, give them a starting point. Like, I'm looking to meet with this type of person, or you could just say, I this is my first time at this event. Who should I meet? And they'll be like, oh, I know who you should meet. Like, it's like, people are happy to make introductions. So if you're not going with anyone and you don't know anyone there should be someone associated with the event who would be happy to introduce you. Or you could just meet someone. You can kind of tell those, you can kind of get a sense of who kind of, knows people or has some gift of gab, and you're like, let me ask that person, because usually if they like to talk, then they'll like to introduce as well. But usually there's someone associated. If you go to any chamber of commerce event, there's always ambassadors, and their job is to connect people. So that's, I mean, just utilize them. And, they're not all created equal. They're not all, some are better than others at it. But even if you meet one person, then you can meet another person. Yeah. You got to block it in your calendar. Okay. Because if you're going to
Mm.
go to a networking event and you don't do the follow up, then why did you go to the networking event? I mean, you can still go and have fun and meet people and do the slow process, but really block out time in your calendar for your follow up. And it doesn't have to be that much time. I mean, sometimes there's only 1 or 2 people that you really want to make sure you follow up with. That doesn't take a ton of time to do 1 or 2 follow ups. Now, if you were a busy bee and you were like working the room and you got 25 cards, then you're gonna have to block a lot, more time. But most people only walk away with maybe a handful of cards, and it's a very manageable. I mean, this is part of your business, and this is dollar producing activity, is to build your network, right? Because those people know a little bit about you, and you can go further, farther, faster with these connections. Say phone calls are the best and fastest way to build connection. So I know everyone likes to send an email or a text, but the way you build connection is by having an exchange of ideas, voice to voice or face to face. And so a phone call is always the best follow up. Um, Now, there are other things that you can do to set up your follow up while you're at the networking event. I like to ask, where else do you network? Who are you looking to meet? Things like that. So I get some context around, what are their spheres? Where do they hang out? Like, what are their organizations that they belong to? So I have context of what, who they know, and things like that. And then also like who are they looking to meet, and then I can see in my network if I have connections. So an easy way to follow up is if you have something to give or to share. So inviting them to another other event that you think might be beneficial for them, connecting them with another person that is someone that they would like to meet, or to say, hey, you talked about this, I think I'm going to actually be at that event. Are you going to go? You mentioned you were part of that organization, will you be there too? Maybe we can see each other again, right? And then so when you have something to give, it's a lot easier to follow up, because I think the biggest fear in follow up is like, oh, I'm going to be salesy. They're thinking, like, because they think you're being, because you think you're being selfish. Okay. And that's uncomfortable. But if you come with the generosity of like, hey, I have something to share and to give, and I have something to provide value, then it's a lot, it feels better on that follow up. You know what? Everybody was new, right? And when I started, I was not only new, I was young and new, and I looked like I was a teenager. So I had that hill to climb for sure. And there is confidence that you gain over time because of experience. And I remember other people saying to me, I could see other people's excitement for me in my business as a new business person, right? And I could see their wish and desire for me, and their want for me to be successful. And it's funny because now I do that. I do that. I see that and do that for other people. I'm like, oh, this is so great for you, right? So find those people who you see that twinkle in their eye when they're like, oh, this is so exciting for you. And then that's going to be an ally. They're going to be supportive. They're going to give you advice. They're going to help you along the way. They're going to give you ideas on where to go and who to talk to, and what you can do. So there's always someone wanting to support and mentor you in every crowd. Anytime there is an opportunity to do small breakout rooms, then you join in, because the smaller rooms where you can make connection is important. So if they offer just general networking breakout rooms, show up and network. Okay. The other thing is be ready with a copy and paste of your contact to put in the chat. Okay. So have something already that is, sometimes they'll give you parameters, but do something that's respectful of the event where you are at, and what is part of that culture, what you can share. But always a LinkedIn link is usually the easiest and the most universal. Just think like LinkedIn has become like the virtual business card. So connect with people on LinkedIn, and you can see their names. Like I could look and go, Alma Galvin. I'm gonna like look her up on LinkedIn and see if I can connect with her, right? And then you can have a further conversation. Um, so so just be prepared to share your LinkedIn, and whatever other little information you want to put in the chat if they let you, but also connect with people on LinkedIn and then do the breakout rooms. The business acceleration group, which is the mastermind group that I am a co-founder of. You can go to the website businessacceleration.group.net. Businessacceleration.group.net. It's ACCELERATION for acceleration. So that's on there. You can click the link to visit a group if there's one in your area. Um, Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'm the only Maile Collmer in the world, I'm pretty sure. You can easily Google me. So, and absolutely, feel free to reach out. Be happy to help in any way.
That's a great presentation. It's always nice to hear
another perspective from someone that actually goes to events and attends in the different ways. And can't emphasize how important it is that even if it's a large group or a small group, sometimes it's the smaller groups that do make the biggest difference. So I'm really glad that you touched on that, and I learned a couple of things myself. So thank you so much for having me on here as well.
Thank you, Alma.
Yes, thank you, Molly, for what you shared as well, for your participation. You also, every day we're learning. Every day we're having to hold ourselves accountable, and I have to do better in regard to my follow up and creating time on my calendar to do the follow up and to be consistent with that. So I appreciate you sharing those tips, and I hope that all the attendees here learn something different and that they implement it, and that we keep it human, build these relationships,
Mhm.
and figure out ways of how we can help each other be successful. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise. And I wish you um, a great rest of the day